So is like anybody watching these Disney Plus shows for the Marvel stuff? Because like I'm not wanting to ever watch these things again, but apparently Loki has his own TV show now, which I'm just kind of like, why? Because you know the motherfucker died, and I guess this is him from Endgame going back. So it's basically a different Loki. So everyone's just like gonna get invested with a completely different version of a character everyone was originally invested in. That sounds like a waste of time. Like I don't know why anybody would, like, you know, he's a mass murderer, right? Like he's a psychopath. He's crazy, and all the girls are like, but he's so cute though. No, he's literally a piece of shit. Why do people like Loki? I don't understand. Like I thought he was cool during the first Avengers movie. Like I really did, but you know I was also an idiot and I didn't really pay attention to movies. I don't think any Marvel movie has been good since Infinity War, and that was just because they took some risk and they did something completely different. But every movie that anything Marvel does, it's the same thing, copy and paste. Like all of Phase One, every single villain was just a copy and paste version of the hero. Like Iron Man, all of his villains from Phase One or whatever were just literally Iron Man suits. The Hulk fought another Hulk. Captain America fought another Captain America, you know, and Thor fought Loki, which is another god. It's the same fucking thing. Everyone just eating this shit up. I couldn't. I mean, I used to love this shit. Don't get me wrong. I really used to really dig this shit. And I think it didn't hit me until Age of Ultron, because Age of Ultron was actually one of the very few comic books I actually did read, and I was so hyped up for it, you know, that trailer was so fucking good. You know what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh my god, they're doing the scary Pinocchio song. Interesting. Because Ultron's kind of like a horror villain, you know? Then I saw the movie and I was like Joss Whedon, like what in the fuck did you do? It was stupid. It was literally stupid. And everyone just praised it and everyone loved it. And I'm just kind of like, you guys are dipshits. And I think that was like the turning point for me. Which, I mean, to be fair, I should have said Thor the Dark World was the turning point. But I used to kind of like Loki, so I was just like, oh wow, this is really good, even though like it's literally me trying to convince myself that the movie was good. The movie wasn't good. I still say the first Thor movie was the best of the three. I know everyone's going to see Ragnarok, but like Ragnarok was so out of character for him and the Hulk. Like that takes me out. I look at stuff like that when I watch movies, and I'm just kind of like, it's not the same characters that they've been this entire time. And just to make the movie good, you have to make them funny, which doesn't sell the movie, in my opinion. You're just convincing people that suddenly it's good because you changed the way they talk, which isn't. It's not true, man. That's just stupid. You know, at least I like the Snyderverse or whatever. I hate superhero movies, just for context. I hate superheroes, but I do like the Snyderverse or whatever because it's like realistically superheroes would be catastrophic to our environment. I hate when people were talking shit about Man of Steel because, oh, Superman would kill Zod. Like, what the fuck else you gonna do? Zod literally said he's not gonna stop till they're all dead. And everyone got mad that Superman, like, snapped his fucking head or snapped his throat or whatever. And I'm like, what could you have done? Because I think in the Snyderverse or whatever, Zod is actually the strongest villain that has been in the entire series, you know? Apart from maybe Doomsday. I don't know. Like, I mean, they're basically the same character in the Snyderverse. Like, Steppenwolf was a cool villain, but he was kind of a bitch compared to, like, everything else. Like, even Ares whooped Darkseid's ass, and Wonder Woman took out Ares. So it's like rock, paper, scissors, you know? It's like, I'm going to use a fire type, so you're going to use a water type, you know? It's just, whatever. But the Marvel movies it's the most expensive TV show ever made. And I don't want to keep shilling out money to watch this shit. But apparently WandaVision was out and everyone's like really confused on WandaVision. And from what I understand, she's technically the bad guy. Because she enslaved an entire town or some shit. I don't know. I'm not going to watch this shit, and I absolutely refuse to pay for Disney Plus. I absolutely refuse to support Disney. Because Disney is an evil fucking company. Everyone's like, I love Disney. And they're like literally saying thank you to China for putting what was it, like Muslims in concentration camps or some shit. You know, the Mulan movie that just came out was just like a giant colossal waste of shit. And people are like, it was so good and inspirational. And I'm like, no, it's really not, you know. I don't know. Like, I'm fucking done with all of this. I'm just curious because, like, I guess the Winter Soldier has a new Captain America, and I'm just kind of like, isn't Bucky and Falcon supposed to be Captain America in the comics, I guess? So why would you introduce another character that kind of robbed either one of them of that spotlight, you know? Like, that would have been a good dynamic, I guess, for the TV show, for them to just, like, bicker, because, you know, it's a fucking, it's Marvel, so they gotta have the stupid, shitty-ass quips, where they gotta, like, throw these fucking one-liners, zingy one-liners, like, back and forth, like they're playing tennis. But I think it would have been cool if, like, they just kind of did that until one of them decided, like, okay, you're going to be Captain America. Like, you know, something like that. But no, Marvel's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's like a secret soldier operation this entire time. And this is the new Captain America that just suddenly showed up to the story because plot. And, you know, now there's a Loki TV show where he's, like, going through time, I guess, or whatever. I just saw the trailer and I'm just kind of like, fucking God. Owen Wilson, like, is there like anything else you could be doing? You're a pretty good actor. Why would you settle to become typecasted in a Marvel movie, Marvel production? You know, I kind of feel bad. Not really, but, you know, I'm just wording it that way. But I kind of feel bad for all of these actors who did anything in these Marvel films because you're kind of fucking stuck. You can never break out and do anything else. You know, like, what the fuck's his name? The guy that plays Steve Rogers. I can't. Chris Evans, yeah. Chris Evans, he is actually a really good actor because every role he plays, he's a fucking asshole. And he plays that role so fucking good. Have you ever seen Not Another Teen Movie or whatever? I think that's what it was. Where he was the football player. Like, he was a pretty good dick in that movie. Scott Pilgrim, he was a pretty fucking good dick in that movie too. But, you know, everyone's only going to see him as Captain America now, so he's never going to be able to be anything else. It's like Ryan Reynolds. Everyone's like, oh, he was Deadpool or Green Lantern. I knew Ryan Reynolds as Van Wilder. Like, anytime I ever look at Ryan Reynolds, I never think of Deadpool. I immediately think of National Lampoon's Van Wilder. Because he was Van Wilder for, like, 20 years. It's like you're literally getting cast typed. And you're never going to be able to break away from it. You think Robert Downey Jr. is ever going to get a role that's going to break away from Tony Stark? He's not. You're never going to see this motherfucker. His very first movie that he did outside of dying off in the MCU was doing that fucking Dr. Dolittle bullshit that got critically panned. And that was a year ago. What else has he done? Fucking nothing. It's been like a year and a half. He hasn't done a goddamn thing. My fucking God. This sucks because, like, the MCU's got some pretty good actors that are just wasting their talent on doing this garbage. Because, you know, like, no matter what, I don't know why people want to go see these movies and shows anyways, because, like, you know, no matter what, the hero's going to win. That's what made Infinity War so good, because Thanos won. He was the only one that actually won. So you're like, okay. So anytime you see a new Marvel movie, you're like, oh my God, this looks so good. I can't wait to see the new Spider-Man. You know, I'm like, you already know he's going to fucking kill the villain at the end of the movie because they got to die for some reason. It's like, you got to kill the villain off. I think there's only been a couple Marvel movies or whatever where the villain actually didn't die. And I think Loki was one, Abomination was one, Vulture was one. I think that's it. I might miss one or two of them, but for the most part, that's fucking it because they all got to fucking die. I heard somebody talking about, like, how much they loved the development with Wanda and Vision during the MCU movies before the TV show. I'm like, what development? They literally put Elizabeth Olsen to the side to focus on fucking... What's that fucking bitch's name? The Captain Marvel bitch. Brie Larson, yeah, that dumb bitch. Like, they literally pushed her aside to focus on that. And now there's a Black Widow movie, I guess, coming out, and I'm just like, of course. And the only reason I would even want to see it is because Taskmaster's in it, and I love Taskmaster. He was one of the only few characters I like from Marvel. I'm not a superhero fan at all. You know, if anything, I would say Hellboy is a better movie than 99% of anything the MCU's dished out. I love Hellboy. I think Hellboy's fucking cool. Whenever I watch Hellboy, I don't even think of it as a superhero movie. I just think it's like, you know, Ron Perlman kicking ass. Like, that's what I think of whenever I watch it. You know, like I said, I like the Snyderverse for the fact that it's, like, realistic. You know, death is a thing. You know, whenever these villains do shit, the MCU, it's always like, You know, that's another thing too. I think I've noticed it ever since the first Fantastic Four came out because my mother brought it up to me. Because she went, my dad went and seen it, and I asked her, how did the Fantastic Four movie go? Which, by the way, they can't make a good version of that, like, at all, no matter what they do. I don't care if Marvel gets a hold of it. You know, right away, if Marvel makes a Fantastic Four movie, all the fucking cocksuckers and mouth breathers are just going to be like, oh, this movie was so good. Marvel really knows what they're doing. And like, no, you're just being a fucking shill. Like, let's be honest. It's because, you know, Marvel and Disney got the copyright for it or whatever. And then suddenly whatever they do is just suddenly going to be gold, no matter how much of a turd it really is. Like, Fantastic Four, it hasn't been done right, and it's been 3 movies. I don't think anybody should really be invested in trying to see it a 4th time. But my mom and dad went and saw Fantastic Four, and I was excited for that because I was a little kid, you know. I was like 12, 13, I don't remember what year that came out. And I asked her, like, so what did they do? Did they, like, were they superheroes? And she goes, no, they didn't even fight crime. They spent the whole movie bitching about their powers. You know, they literally become like God. I think the Thing should have been, you know, the only one that bitched about it, but, you know, whatever. They'd even act like superheroes, and I was thinking about that ever since I've been watching these movies. None of them really act like superheroes at all, dude. Like, everyone loves Captain America, and I'm like, you know, realistically speaking, if you want to be honest about this, if Steve Rogers really came from, like, the 20s or the 40s or whenever it was supposed to be, he would be the most racist, misogynistic asshole, because that's how people were back then. He would be saying the N-word. He'd be like, hey, boy, come fill up my drink. He wouldn't be all sweet and charming and polite to people. I mean, maybe other white men, but, like, Scarlet Witch and all them and Black Widow, he would be rude as fuck to them because they're women. He'd be calling them broads, especially because he's from Boston or Queens or whatever the fuck. He was from New York. It's just one of those areas. I don't know. There's just too many fucking episodes. Too many 2-hour episodes. But yeah, I mean, you know, Tony Stark, like, I liked him in the first Iron Man movie, but after a while he just got so annoying with all the fucking quips, and it's like, my fucking God. It's like every character's got to have this clever little quip, and it's just the most infuriating fucking thing. And people are okay with that, but everyone's over here just pissed off about Henry Cavill not being able to look sad whenever something happens and anything Man of Steel related. He just has that look. I'm like, yeah, it's like he's an alien that can't relate with human beings very well, even though he was raised up on, you know, Smallville. Of course he can't relate. He's not human. He's not a human. That's why he can't relate. And everyone's over here is just like, James Gunn is so good with the Guardians movie. Like, I was so excited for Guardians of the Galaxy when I first heard about it because I had no idea what they were. I'd never heard of Guardians before. I didn't read any comics. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go into this blind. That trailer came out. I was just like, ooga chaga, you know. I was like, oh man, this looks so fucking good. I fell asleep during that movie. Everyone swears up and down that is the greatest fucking Marvel movie, and I'm all over here like, you know what? If you take away all that fucking nostalgic music, you don't got shit. That movie is fucking garbage, and it is the goddamn truth. That is one of the worst fucking Marvel movies I have ever seen. I actually thought the second one was better than the first, and I didn't even want to watch the second one. I hated the first Guardians movie so much that I literally saw everything in the MCU past Endgame except for Guardians 2, because I did not like the first one. And then I actually ended up kind of liking the second one because I thought Ego was kind of a funny villain. That's really about it. Of course, you know, Ego in the comics isn't a celestial. He's a fucking planet. But whatever. You know, like, they expect their fans to be stupid. And, you know, fans are over here all, like, mad about Iron Man 3. Like, see, the MCU fans are so stupid. Like, you guys don't fucking know what the fuck you're talking about. And this is what irritates me. Because they're just like, oh my God, the Mandarin was ruined in Iron Man 3. Like, they ruined my favorite not villain because nobody fucking liked Iron Man. Like, why are you lying? Why the fuck are you coming on the internet to lie? I don't understand. Iron Man wasn't shit until 2008. He was a B-tier character. You know, the only reason I even knew who Iron Man was is because I was watching the Justice Friends or whatever. Or the Justice Pals. You know, that little side cartoon that was a part of Dexter's Laboratory? And they had all the parodies of the MCU of the Marvel characters. And he was like called Bullet Man or something like that. But that was the Iron Man spin-off character. Like Black Panther too. Like nobody fucking cared or even knew shit about Black Panther until that Captain America movie. I can't even remember what it is because there's too many of these fucking things. But everyone was mad about the fucking shitty Mandarin because, you know, I actually thought it was a good twist. I didn't see it coming, and that's what I liked about it. Because when he can't reveal himself to be like some British actor, I was like, oh my god, okay, that's interesting. Of course, you know, the movie had all the other faults, like the Extremist Project just suddenly disappears and it's never referenced again. So for some reason, it's a Christmas movie. The president's inside of the Iron Patriot suit, can't do anything, but Rhodey gets into it and it just immediately flies, and you're just gonna like, what? Like, this entire movie just makes no fucking sense. But I did like the Mandarin part. It was kind of scary with his little reveal because, you know, during that time, we were still kind of recovering from 9/11. We're still kind of scared of the Middle East, you know, that kind of stuff. It does good to strike fear in the audience. But everyone's all mad about the reveal because it's like, oh, he's not even really the Mandarin. It's so stupid. You guys are ruining the character. Meanwhile, you guys are over here sucking James Gunn's fucking dick for the Guardians movie. Which, spoiler alert, they act nothing like this in the goddamn comics. I think Star-Lord's actually gay or some shit. I don't know. Like, you know, Marvel's all about pandering. They gotta pander, like, everything's gotta be bisexual or whatever. Or non-binary or safe space or snowflake or whatever the fuck it was. I know I'm sounding like a very negative person, but I'm over here like, I just can't wrap my mind around people's mentality when it comes to these stupid movies. I really can't. It's fucking dumb. And now we got James Gunn coming over here to save the Suicide Squad movies. Because he's coming here to direct the second one, which sparked this entire conversation that I'm having with you right now. It's because I just saw the trailer for Suicide Squad 2. And it looks like shit. It looks just as bad as the first one. Because they're trying really hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy. And people are just going to suck dick of James Gunn. Because everyone thinks he's a great fucking director when he's not. Because my god, you know, some of the movies he's done, they're interesting concepts, but they're not good movies. You know, a lot of people like say they love James Gunn, but I guarantee you none of these people have ever seen Slither. You ever seen Slither? That's a really shitty fucking horror movie. My god. It's so stupid. He directed that, by the way. I like going on these little rants. It's fun. Like, I really hate the MCU, obviously. But the whole focus of this is like, yeah, have you guys been watching the MCU movies? Or, I'm sorry, the TV shows? I guess I'm just kind of, I'm too lazy and not caring enough to look into it for the new Captain America because I'm just kind of like, you just killed the motherfucker off and you already replaced him again. Which, you know, also the in-game fucking time travel bullshit that they explained the rules, that they decided not to follow the rules. And Cap's like, I'm going to take these Infinity Stones back to exactly where they need to be in time, which makes no fucking sense because how would you fucking possibly know how to get to one of those planets? You didn't have a ship whenever you left. Like, none of this shit makes any fucking sense. And if you corrected the timeline, you shouldn't have appeared at the end of the movie anyways. But you know what? Marvel thinks you're too fucking stupid, and Marvel had to re-release Endgame with like 5 minutes of unfinished scenes or whatever just to beat Avatar because they were like really trying to make this the biggest movie of all time, which it was not going to beat Avatar until Marvel decided to do that. And it gave you like 6 minutes of additional scenes. Over half of that was just a trailer for the new Spider-Man movie. So congratulations, you guys fucking played yourself. I'm done. Have a good night.